Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
I'm not.
and today we're going to be reviewing
Supergirl.
Supergirl episode, and this episode is called Homecoming. The first point I would like to make is that Helen Slater is like the worst actress.
Yeah, it's not great, is she?
She's kind of like that in real life. Like, no offense, but
What do you mean?
she kind of comes off feeble and stuff like that. But like her acting's terrible. Yeah,
Feeble.
she kind of made herself cry a little bit. So I mean, hats off for that. But really, she's just like she's whack. It's like thank God she only pops up like really like once a season, but she's terrible. I mean, her character's terrible as well. So,
Yeah, well, we'll get to the acting a little bit later. There's something I've got to talk about as well, but let's get to the episode
yeah.
first.
Well, I mean, in terms of gaffs as well, I've got a pretty big gaff to mention as well. So, basically, this episode is the classic someone's been kidnapped, then they get released, and then there's suspicion like, oh no, they're fine, you know what I mean, oh it's my dad, it's fine. Then it's like, no, it's really suspicious, and then it turns out, yeah, they're right to be suspicious. You know, that classic episode you've seen on every single TV show ever made,
Yep.
at least twice. So yeah, Jeremiah Danvers, or the solid, strong Dean Kane, is back on our screens, involved in the Superman franchise. Um,
But I'd rather see him be doing this than whatever reality TV shows he's been doing over here. How embarrassing is that?
all he did is like the jump, and I swear he won
That's
it.
awful.
The
No,
program's.
no one could win the jump.
I think it's great.
Ridiculous.
I think it's great. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I've seen two
It's
episodes.
awesome. Like last week's episode, like my man popped his shoulder out, dislocated his shoulder, and then like literally it popped it back in. It's like, oh cool. Then like a day later, he like fell off again and like dashed through a fence. Great, I love it. So anyway, let's see what you have to say about this episode.
Yeah, like you said, we've seen it over and over again, but at least I suppose if you're going to do it, be self-aware, and they were. Um,
In what sense?
well, on the smaller end, they dropped it with Win, the 24 thing. The 24 was notorious. Just every season, someone there was a traitor in CTU all the time. But on a deeper level, it was Monel who was basically said outright what we were all thinking at the time, which is, how can you just let this dude stroll right into your secret government facility place and have access to everything?
They do that with it. They do that with everyone ever. Anyway, yeah, they might not have access to everything, but they let Maggie. She just strolls in, and it's like, yo, what you doing here? It's like, you're just a police officer. Bye. It's like, it's because the Martian Manhunter's like the director and stuff like that. He just lets people walk in, but I guess he mind reads them, so I guess that's all cool. But still, it's a bit like there was ever a supervisor like who rolled in from like the government. They'll be like, "Yo, who's this? Who's it?" And it's just like, "Ah, she's a friend." It's like, what are you talking about? She ain't got clearance. Just chuck her in jail for 20 years.
Didn't he read? Didn't Manhunter read Mr. Danvers' mind? Then what's his name? Jeremiah? Is that his name?
No,
Didn't
because he hissy fitted later in the episode. He was like, "Why can't I read your mind?" He
oh,
sounded really
oh.
constipated.
Yeah,
You know,
okay, look, you brought it up, so I'm going to get to it now. So I'm going to leave it later. Let's do it. Last week you went on that mini rant, which was right about how over the top Must Have Been Nice was, and I was saying they need to get whoever's directing or producers need to rein them in sometimes, because
who Benoit?
not just her and it's Ben Oyst, everyone on the show, but specifically this week, the man who plays the Manhunter
Yeah.
in that scene where he confronted Jeremiah. Oh my god.
He got a little overexcited. He
It was
always
horrendous.
he kind of grits his teeth and then lets loose. He does that with anything. He was doing it with the other Martian woman. He's literally just grits his teeth and he proper just like "Urgh," like that.
It's the worst kind of angry acting. It's
Yeah.
just, He sounds dreadful. It's like proper soap opera stuff.
Constipated and very forced. So basically, we'll give you a rundown of the episode. Those of you who haven't seen it, basically, it starts with the most obvious thing ever. Like, there's a transport from Cadmus. They think it's a weapon. Like, they shut that down, and then they open it up, and Jeremiah's in the back of the truck. A relevant point later on in that. But I mean, I'll get onto that later. But it's checked over. One would imagine is checked over by medical people. Apparently not. He's got a dodgy hand, which isn't in a sling. They just let it kind of hang. He just walks around like that, and it's like, all right then, mate, aren't they going to put that in a sling? But apparently not. So I mean, I don't know who he went. Maybe he did the I'm fine. Yeah, my face is cut up, but I'm fine. I don't need a doctor. I'm just happy to be back. So yeah, there's a whole love fest. Everyone's so happy he's back. Mrs. Danvers just rolls in like, one of them ones. Then one else just like, yo, this seems a little too convenient.
Yeah.
Convenient. So then he's kind of fronting with Benoit, and then they're kind of all lovey-dovey and stuff like that, and she does that well. When she's happy, she's very convincing when she's happy. You know what I mean? When she kind of does that lovey-dovey stuff, and she smiles and stuff like that, and you can see her kind of all radiant and pleased, and it's just
it's
very authentic.
Okay, bit creepy
to me. I feel that other people, trust me, other people will see that. You know who I'm talking to, but other people, it's trust. It's not just me. I'm not the only person in the world.
For the love of God, what else happened in the episode?
Oh. So yeah, it was basically that, and then it's the old. He gets back into the DEO a couple days later, given full access. Then he kind of hacks into the mainframe, but it's like, oh no, I was just looking in there so I could catch up with what my girls have been doing over the past few years while I've been away. See, the question I would have asked is straight away. Because they said, oh yeah, it's just a bunch of old case files. It's like, wouldn't they have looked at what the case files were? I'd have been like, yo, what actual specific case files were they? On the off chance it was still nothing, it was just random stuff. I mean, what if they did it and there's a correlation? Maybe it was all the case files regarding Cadmus or something like that. Then kind of red flags would be raised. But no, they don't ask any of them questions. They're just like, oh, okay, then we'll brush that under the carpet. So Benoit and Monel kind of have a little bit of a falling out. Benoit, so it's not too bad, I guess. See, because they didn't really drag it out, and then to cut a long story short, yeah, it turns out he is still a Cadmus, and he's been cybernetically enhanced. His gammy hand is a robot arm, and my point was when he was kind of strolling about, it's his left arm looked a bit puffy in his jacket. You know what I mean? The shoulder bit, it was out here, and I was thinking, is he wearing something under that jacket? But then I thought, oh whatever, I'm not gonna think too much into it. And of course, it turns out he was. Special effects under his jumper, but that was pretty baggage. It's
how would they not know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was getting at earlier. Was he not checked over by medical people, and didn't they notice that his flipping arms metal?
He must have been. The dude has been with kidnapped by some super evil people for 10 years.
Very sloppily.
You're not going to do a medical checkup on the guy.
The writers are lazy. The writers don't care. They just think we're going to accept it. So yeah, the writers don't care. They just thought, I know. See, what's cool is he was, for all intents and purposes, Cyborg Superman. He played Superman back in the day. I thought it would have been cool if they killed Hank Henshaw off, they muller him off, and then they just make him Cyborg Superman, because he is in fact Cyborg Superman. But I think I was hoping for too much there.
Well, no, that's what I thought they were getting at as well, and I think there's a smarter way to go. You don't need the dude playing two roles. Get rid of that. And Cyborg Superman was beefy anyway. It's like a crappy version of a Borg. Get rid of that and just go with Dean Cain as Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, but you saw last time what he looks like properly. It's just got a little like face helmet thing there, but when you take that off, it's like
don't see that.
the actual Terminator thing. Yeah, because it costs money, so they just
Exactly.
thought we'll put the cruddy mask on.
Get rid of it and use Dean Cain. Job done.
Yeah, but then they'll pretty much have to do the same thing with him as well.
No, they won't. You don't need the makeup. He looks like Superman already, doesn't he?
Well, clearly.
And part of the reason they come to jail, he can do a cool robot-like design. But part of the reason in the comics that he looked a bit different anyway was so that you can distinguish between him and Superman. But you're not going to have that problem. And this show, Dean Cain doesn't look like Superman. Superman's some other bloke who's like 20 years younger. So just have him look like Dean Cain. Job done.
Okay. Trying to think what else happened. I swear, didn't you say you had a gripe about something?
Yeah. Well, part of that was the dreadful acting in that scene, but also.
Why can't I read your mind?
Oh, it's so bad. So bad.
I think it was kind of cool that they kind of showed Martian Manhunter like phasing through stuff, because you don't really normally get to see that. But I mean, he kind of phase smashed the cars at the start, and then like all during that fight, he was kind of phasing through stuff, and I was like, at last, and that, because Martian Manhunter's pretty capable and stuff like that. But on like Supergirl, they've only shown him like flying about and smacking people. They haven't actually shown the fact he can phase through stuff and do like a ton of cool things. They kind of limit what he can do, but obviously, again, that's the fat cash. Don't want to spend it.
That was cool. It's just, and it's not even. They're not. No one's Daniel Day-Lewis on the show. They're not all world-class actors, and that's fine. You don't need to be. Just if you're the director of the episode, I get that everything's kind of set in motion already. That you come in and do the same show people expect. That's fine. But just talk to an actor. Say, all right, bring it in a little. That's all you need to do. Just don't go too over the top.
What happens if they actually did, and that's literally the range of their acting abilities? It's like, I'm sorry, but that's the best I can do. That is me toned down.
Well, then I am concerned.
I was going to walk onto set with a sign over my head with an arrow pointing at me saying angry, but I toned it in and just kind of gritted my teeth and snarled at people.
One gripe I had was, yes, Alex in the episode is closer to Jeremiah.
I think she made a little dig as well. Which
makes sense. But at one point, she said, when they're having their argument, Alex and Supergirl, Alex is like, he's my dad. And Supergirl's, oh, he's mine too.
And then she was like, act like it.
But what confuses me now, though, is if he's been gone for 10 years...
15.
15? Are you serious?
Mother's life. Swear down.
If he's been gone for 15 years, how old is Supergirl? Because she looked about at least 10 in the preview when she lands on a planet.
Well, she could be about 40 in Earth years, but her Kryptonian biology makes her look
because Alex was born. Alex was arrived.
Yeah, I think Alex was quite young.
But then it makes no sense.
I don't know what to tell you.
15 years.
Don't know what to tell you, man.
How long was he her dad? About 2? It's not like Superman where Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent raised him. But she had parents. She knows her parents. She mustn't even know this guy.
It's very sloppy.
That's piss poor.
It's like, I don't know, you could put Alex Danvers at like... Because I swear when they arrived at the farm, I'm trying to remember the first episode now, when they arrived at the farm, she was pretty young. So put Alex Danvers about 30, I mean that's accurate. So he vanished when she was 15, so say about 6 years, something like that.
I'm sorry, that's not enough. I mean, look, she can like the guy, sure, she can see him as a father figure, but he's not her dad.
I think they just messed up with they've honestly just messed up with the timeline. See, the thing is though, Yeah, I mean, if you draw parallels with like Jonathan Kent and stuff like that, and kind of he was more Clark Kent more gravitated towards Jonathan Kent than Jor-El, honestly. But
Right, but
like,
Clark never met Jor-El.
yeah, what?
He never met Jor-El.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, technically, yeah, he might have been a baby, but like, you're not going to remember that. The only parents he knows are the Kents.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with Supergirl, she's kind of got a little Fortress of Solitude thing anyway. But I don't think you've ever actually seen her dad. You saw maybe because it kind of focused a lot on like her mum and her sister Astra. You never really saw Jor-El, or he weren't really mentioned and stuff like that. So that's an interesting one. Who gives a crap? You know what? He's gone now. He'll pop up a couple more times. If they kill off Hank Henshaw, he'll be Cyborg Superman. But he's still not going to pop up that often. You know what I mean? No. I can't imagine Dean Cain's really that busy. So I mean,
he's still if he's doing the jump, then clearly not. But
no, he's finished. He did that last year. That's over now.
At least he survived it.
Going on about the jump.
It's hard not to. I can't believe Superman was on that damn reality TV show.
That's the only reason I watched it. I thought it was great.
Okay, well, the episode...
Should have bet on him to win. I'd have made some cash.
The end of the episode, I think it's pretty obvious. You might disagree. I think it's pretty obvious what they're hinting at is the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, what was that big thing? Was it a thing or something?
Wasn't it... Okay, I haven't seen the pilot since it first came out about a year ago, but wasn't that the ship that, like, Zod's wife... Zod's wife? No, not Zod's wife. Non's wife.
Yeah.
Non's wife. Wasn't that
Karazhan?
Astra, yeah. And wasn't it like at some gate to the Phantom Zone?
I don't know. I was staring at it and I was thinking, is that like some high-tech like Quinjet or something like that? I was staring at. Honestly, they didn't really show it that well. So I don't really know what it was. I just thought it was like a jet and they're going to drop it. So if it is...
Yeah, well, whatever it is, and they're trying to figure out some way of getting all the aliens out of the city or the country.
I figure that they'd just do what they kind of tried to do last time with Lillian Luthor, where she tried to infect him with the thing. See, what's the device? What is the device they've got? It's not like an atomic bomb.
A Phantom Zone projector. Well, I'm guessing.
See, that'd be interesting.
Because Mon-El's got to end up in the Phantom Zone.
Yes.
They're too lovey-dovey now.
Yeah, speaking of which, he dropped a bomb about that one as well. Oh, Jeremiah, when he walked him out. Remember, he walked him out and he was like, I know who you are, and I don't think you want Kara to find out. So, Mon-El's maybe not Mon-El.
Oh, I think he is. I get maybe, but I think he is Mon-El. He's just Prince from a pretty crappy place, and he might have done some pretty crappy things. He talked about his dad's a horrible person, and he ran away from him.
Yeah, but he's got a beef in Daxam because he's got the lead poisoning thing. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe it turns out he's like a Kryptonian or something. But then I was like, I remember because he got shot by a bullet, so he's definitely from Daxam because the lead affected him. So the question is,
I think he is Mon-El. Has he told her that he is the prince?
I don't think so, no, because still you got to think that they've still got them people coming after him, and the way he kind of said it, like, oh, I don't think you want Kara to know, like, whoever this guy is a piece of shit, and Kara's just, oh, excuse my language. Whoever his like character was like before he landed on Earth is a bit of a baghead.
Yeah, because I think. Remember there was that episode I can't remember what it was. There was a couple of episodes back, and they wound up on an alien planet. And towards the end, you heard the aliens talk about the prince. Well, the prince wasn't a nice guy or something along those lines. So I think he's from Daxam. He did some horrible things, and he doesn't want people to find out. And his way of making up for it will be to sacrifice himself in the Phantom Zone.
At Cadmus, it is revealed that Jeremiah and Lillian have a deal that is tied into the database, with Lillian showing Jeremiah a spacecraft that would send aliens away. That's very vague. A spacecraft that sends aliens away. Are you going to round them up?
Well, what about if they're doing something similar to Man of Steel? Because that's kind of how the Phantom Zone worked in the movie, wasn't it? It's
Yeah.
like a ship or something instead.
Yeah, could be. I think your theory sounds quite plausible. I mean, I generally think the general consensus would be that. I mean, it'd wrap everything up, but I want to know what flipping Monel's all about now. And I think now, after they've kind of dropped this bomb, everyone's going to thinking, oh, what's the deal with Monel? And maybe like next episode, it's going to have them bounty hunters coming back up, because I think it's been about what? It's been about 3 or 4 episodes now since we saw them last. And last we kind of saw them, they were heading to Earth. So whether they're going to pop up again now. And my issue is, if they're going to send all the aliens away, you got to think that that means Supergirl as well.
Right, but I think that would be why Jeremiah is working with them. Is he wants to try and save her.
Okay.
And so it's going to end up being like a tragic, either villain or hero, however you want to look at it. So where he's going to be sacrificing everyone else, but to save Supergirl, and obviously Supergirl's not going to want to have that. He's going to try and stop him, blah, blah, blah. There you go. My concern, if my theory is correct and Monel does wind up going, I would be concerned about the next season, because I do think the show's better with him.
Yep.
I think
and then it's just going to be annoying because she's going to be skating around the whole system with another series looking for another love interest, and it's just going to be like, oh.
As long as it isn't Jimmy Olsen.
Batty.
Who wasn't in the episode again?
No, thank God. They're having cuts as well. I'm gonna call him Thea Olsen. They've cut him. They've cut his good, because the sad thing is, in that he's been there from day one, but is superfluous. There's no point. There's literally no point in him. He's pointless.
I have nothing against the actor personally. It's just it doesn't fit. It doesn't work.
Yeah, sorry mate, but you need to go. I mean, even if they did a spin-off Superman show, it's still going to be whack, because he'll want to be Guardian in that.
Right. A is going to want to be Guardian, and B, he looks like Superman. As in, he's this proper built, massive bloke.
Yeah, and you'd expect Jimmy Olsen to be a bit more dorky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of missed. Yeah, but maybe they thought, right, it's going to be hard to kind of discern Win and him. I mean, Win could have been Jimmy Olsen.
Yes, I was just about to say the exact same thing. There's your answer staring you right in the face. Let's make him Jimmy Olsen.
Exactly, he would have been pretty cool. So yeah, I think we've covered all the points. Let's talk. Unless there's anything else you want to drop, we'll move on to numbers.
No, I think that was basically everything, wasn't it? I'll go 7. It bugged me. I thought.
Yeah, I'll give it 7 as
lazy writing. It really bugged me.
There was nothing like great. I mean, even the fight wasn't really that good. I mean, they spent a little money doing like some of the effects, like Martian Manhunter, a lot of effects on him. But apart from that, it was nothing like groundbreaking. No pun intended.
No, I can forgive some lapses in writing, but not so many in the same episode. There was too many conveniences. There was too much you could just skirt over. The idea that this dude, I mean, even with Monel calling it out, this guy can just walk in without apparently having a medical checkup or a thorough one and just go into this phase. No.
And especially with flipping, wouldn't there be a red flag raised when like the Martian Manhunter's like, I can't read your mind? It's like, you're telling me like later on in the episode, like when he brings it up, that's the first time he's tried to read his mind. He must have tried to do it earlier, and then he's like, actually I can't read this guy's mind. Don't worry about it. You know.
Martian Manhunter can read minds. Supergirl has X-ray vision. It's a super government facility. There's aliens and dangerous people walking around.
Do they have metal detectors?
Right. No one is checking up on this guy. Even if you're concerned about him, surely you'd want to check up on the health of a guy that's been gone for 10 years.
Very slack.
Or 15, whatever it is.
Right. So that pretty much wraps up the review. Like, share, subscribe. I'm Sam.
I'm not.
And this has been the Superhero Hub.